Now, something that's happened to me a few times in fish tanks, but particularly in ponds, is you'll have a situation where maybe there's a filter and there's a limited amount of water flow through the filter, and potentially the water that comes out of the filter is actually not as high in oxygen as you think, because a lot of the time the good bacteria in the filter is going to suck all of the waste out of the water. Then what will sometimes happen is we will recommend that more water flow go into the situation. So obviously I'm not particularly talking about this one, because this obviously has a lot of water flow and a lot of surface agitation and a lot of water movement. But let's just, for the sake of this video, assume that there was nowhere near as much water flow in the pond. Then we've suggested that you put more in. Then you've put more in, then your fish die. Now the reason why this can be is that through the bottom of the pond you can actually have the formation of some sediment, and in that sediment you can form what's called anoxic bacteria. So there's no oxygen present in that area. Then the anoxic bacteria can actually discharge hydrogen sulfide and other gases. So then what happens is when you come along and put more water flow in, then you basically see your fish gasping and you can potentially lose your fish. So what can you do to make sure that doesn't happen? First thing you could do is give your pond a big spring clean. In doing a spring clean, you'd remove most of the water, put it in a container or a drum or something like that. Then you would usually remove the fish and put them in there as well, so they're in good water before you disturb the bottom. Then the last bit of water in the bottom you would discard, and you would shovel out or pump out or whatever any sediment and crap in the bottom of the pond or the fish tank. You can do spring cleans with fish tanks. Then when you put the water back into the pond again after you have given it a clean, you can add some water ager. Then you can add the bulk of the water that the fish were in, acclimatize the fish back into that water, and then the fish are going to be in hopefully a majority of their own water if you're able to save that much. Otherwise you acclimatize them back in again. And you don't turn your filter on at this time, because you want to wait until the water's back in and you've treated all the water. You then put the fish in after the water's been treated. Then you turn the filter back on again. So hopefully you've preserved all the good bacteria in the filter. So other things that you can do is running media, of running stuff like aquarium detox. So what this stuff does is introduce a blend of bacteria which is from mud, and then this bacteria is going to go in and break up the anoxic zones. And the other thing you can do is add polyfilter to your filter, and then that's going to suck the hydrogen sulfide and other gases out of the filter. So once again, this is a problem that I've come across on occasions. I have come across it when putting more water flow in fish tanks, and I've definitely come across it when putting more water flow into ponds. So though the advice for more water flow is very sound, the risk of adding more water flow without taking those basic precautions are actually a problem. So anyway, if you have experienced any similar problems, then put a little note on the bottom of this video.